If like me you're a fan of Serie A football, especially from the 90s, one of the great teams was Parma. This guy knows. You put a simple Google search in for Parma 98-99, you'll be great with all these iconic images of Buffon, of Cannavaro, of Crespo, the UEFA Cup run. I just remember it like the back of my hand. Tino Asprilla. However, since finishing bottom in season 2021, they've been stuck in Serie B, not really getting anywhere. And prior to that, all the way down to Serie D after some financial problems. So it's our job to get them back where they belong. Now this will be a different challenge to the normal rescue kind of job, because going into the season, Parma were heavy favourites to go up automatically. And in real life, because we are using that real life database, Parma are comfortably top of the league. And that's where we sit. We're comfortably clear. And they've been pretty impressive throughout the season. So if we blow it, it's on me. So the goals of the save will be the following. First season, get them promoted, finish this story because they are clear. Then once back in Serie A, stabilise the club, shoot towards a top 6 finish after a couple of seasons, and hopefully back into Europe like we all remember in that late great 90s side. And eventually I'd like to get to a stage where I can implement the system that they used in 98-99, the free at the back system, with creative players, great strikers, workhorses in midfield, and attacking wing backs. So firstly, with the team absolutely flying, it's important to get a system that they're used to playing in real life. So to match it up, it was time to do a little bit of research. Having looked through various games on Soccerway website, it was apparent they looked to play somewhat of a 4-2-3-1 this season. I'm also going to use a lineup that is similar to what they've been using in real life, well as close to as I can get. So what I did, I went to each player and I explored how many appearances and minutes they played throughout the season. So using all that info, I built this simple tactic to close out the season. It's a version of a 4-2-3-1, plays in their best positions, and we'll see what goes on. I am excited by a few of the youngsters here. They can potentially be long-term players. I'm starting Benejak as a Romdateur, but I want to see him up front eventually. It's our version of Hernan Crespo. Sakati has potential at centre-back to be a long-term player. And up front, a rough diamond is Johan Bonni. Striker could potentially be our version of Chiesa. Let's have a look. We did okay. I wouldn't say we were spectacular, but we did grow into it. The players were suited to the system. We only lost the one match since taking over, and we clinched the championship after 34 matches with 4 games to go. So we are back in Serie A. The system we played ended up being that. I was just having a little play around with the midfield position, specifically Banabi in there, the creative player. That's the way we finished season 1. All these tactics will be in Patreon when the video fires up. Next, of course, it was time to decide if our squad was good enough for the leap up to Serie A. And I want to give most players a chance and keep it realistic. I'm going to make one change though. In goals, I'm going to bring in Martin Turk. He's got great potential. Could he be our potential long-term Buffon? But other than that, I'm just going to bring in 1 or 2 squad players to back these lot up and give them a chance. So I'll let a few fringe players go, bringing in 6.75 million. So far, I've just brought 1 player in on a free transfer. Enoch Kwatang is going to compete for right wing back. He's came in on a free transfer from Turkish football. But rather than jump into the Parma tactic straight away, we're going to stick with this because I know they can play this and this should be our best opportunity to stay in Serie A. And the season preview isn't very kind, bringing us in at 600 to 1, so they think we're going to struggle a bit here. So, just as I'm about to launch into season 2, a few transfers went out the door because release clauses were triggered, so we had to bring some more in. I was gutted to lose Del Prieto. He was going to be my right wing back, and then eventually he was going to be my version of Thuram at wide centre back, but Roma came in and bought him for 7.5 million. So I acted quickly and signed Diego Coppola. He could be our new Thuram. I'm quite excited about him. He's 6'4", likes to play wide centre back. I also got Valpeto in from Sassuolo. He's on loan for the season with an agreed fee of 3.9 million. And I brought in Pedro Mendes to play up front. He's only 25. He was at Ascoli last season. But for striker, his attributes are pretty much perfect, so we'll see how he goes. And finally, we signed Hussein Aouar from Roma. He only cost me 4.8 million. I thought it was worth a punt to see if we can get his career back on track. So overall, we brought in 15.7 and we spent 14.2. Quite happy with that. But again, I'm keeping faith with most of the boys from last season, but I am going to play Mendes up front because he's a little ahead of Johan Bonni at the minute, who's still very young. Kwatang slots in at right back, but other than that, let's go for season 2. We started pretty good, and this game against Venezia was superb, and Mendes was off to a flyer. A total dominating performance. However, following that, results were hard to come by and it was a bit of a struggle. We have just got a really big win against relegation rivals Monza, and Mendes has been great. There you see, he scored 10 Serie A goals in 15 starts. But in January, we sit precariously in 16th. I knew this was going to be a tough season, and it's proven so. So for the rest of the season, I've dropped into this. I've dropped my attacking midfielder back to a Volante on attack to make us a little bit more solid, and I've had to let go of the Rom Tater. I'm going for an inside forward instead. And to be fair to this man, he's been pretty good. He scored 10 in 19. Not bad at all from that position. So sitting 16th, my thoughts were, let's get enough points on the board to survive. If we can, then we might start bringing in the Parma tactic if we're safe, just to get them used to it. Long second half of the season to go though. So using that triple DM tactic, we cobbled together enough points to see us to safety. Thank the Lord for Pedro Mendes, who ended up with 16 goals. So we stuck with that all season, but as you can see, the chemistry just was not really there. The season was hit and miss. It was a toughie, but it was a typical first season back in Serie A. But we did end up finishing 14th, pretty comfortably, 11 points clear of relegation, so we've got to take that as a win. So we've hit our first 2 goals of getting them promoted and then staying in the league, and 14th is not bad for a first season back. Now, for next season, I want to start bringing in the 98-99 tactic and get them playing in that classic way. So it's time to decide which players we're going to keep and which players we're going to move on. And remember, that is the 98-99 setup we are looking to recreate. Wide centre-backs, wing-backs, workhorses in midfield, and the creativity of Veron, and a lethal strike partnership of Crespo Chiesa. So that is the setup I'm looking at for Season 3. We're going to go straight into Season 3 using this. It's a risk, but we can also drop back to this if we're starting to struggle a bit. But I really want to get this going. Benejek's going to be key, and I'm excited about him. He could be our Crespo, because last season he managed to score 13 goals in Serie A, playing in that withdrawn inside forward role. This year, he's going to be up front, but he is recovering from a broken leg. Overall though, really happy with the squad, especially those centre-backs. They've got really good options there as ball players and wide centre-backs. Wing-backs are solid, got loads of options in midfield, including guys on the bench. Let's see how the transfer window goes. Okay, mixed news in the transfer market. We brought in 23 million and we spent 14. Aston Villa stole our goalkeeper Martin Turk from us using his release clause for 12 million. And Torino did the same. They managed to take Sasati from us because they qualified for the Champions League and they've triggered that clause. Gutted. So with Turk gone, we needed a new keeper. I swooped to Atalanta to get Kanateshi for 3 million. He is undoubtedly going to be our long-term goalkeeper. Now Monza got relegated, so I've raided them for their players. Carboni at centre-back comes in as a wide centre-back option, and I spent 6 million on Matteo Pessina, who can play box-to-box, or if I want him to play in the Veron role, he can do that too. Now the midfield two are going to have a lot of work to do, so they're going to be rotated. And in comes Kobe Coindredi. He's in from Valencia on a free transfer. Great promise. The rest of the players were pretty much backup, so we've got a decent sized squad now. Now last season I sent Botan Balor out on loan to Sampdoria. He had a good season, played 27 matches, so now he comes back into the squad. Same goes for Drissa Kamara. Last season he was in Serie B with Cosenza. This season he's going to be one of the box-to-box midfielders in rotation. So that's how we're looking for season number 3. We're in our new Parma tactic. We're going to tweak it as we go. We'll start like this and let's see how we do. But the media have no faith in us and expect us to get relegated at 700 to 1. As the season started, remember, we're in a brand new tactic here. First game was Atalanta. And do you know what? We were absolutely superb. Pessina got off the mark straight away, but we lost the match 3-1. But take a look at the match stats. 20 shots we had, 11 on target. We dominated, but somehow lost. Same story at home to Udinese, who barely hit us at all, but we could not score. And it continued away to Sassuolo. We should have got a result despite being down to 10 men. And again, at home to Hellas Verona, we're dropping points here when we should be winning. And we went away to Lazio and yet again played out of our skin. This time it was a 2-2 draw, but promising. But yeah, no wins in our first 5 matches, which meant we sat in 16th with just 3 points. But if you look at the actual XG table, we should have been 4th. Madness. We got to December and things had picked up. We've just played Roma and played them off the park using this system. Benejek's been superb. Back from injury, he scored 8 in 7 starts. So our form meant that after 17 matches, we're 10th in the table. We had made a couple of tweaks to the tactic. The deep line forward has been switched for a complete forward, and the box-to-box double was changed to one being a ball-winning midfielder. We got well beaten by Inter Milan, but only after a really bad challenge leading to a red card by Pessina. And other than that, we had a cracking end to the season, including beating Napoli away from home and Juventus at home. It meant way ahead of schedule. We finished 6th in the league, qualifying for the Europa League. We've got Parma back in that trophy that they're famous for. Also in the player stats, we've got 2 out of the top 3 goal scorers in Pedro Mendes and Benedict, and he's also top of the average ratings. And our left wing back, Di Chara, top of the assists. There was a couple more tweaks to the tactic, just here and there. We've got 2 wide centre-backs now, both on defend. Ballo came in to be a bit rock solid in centre-back, and you can see the chemistry between the players now. Things are looking good. So into season 4 we go, and it was time to build on that tactic. 3.4 million went out, just a load of squad players. 10.2 million in. Yet again, we used our technique of raiding the relegated team. Empoli this time. We brought Giuseppe Pizzella back from Empoli. He used to play at Parma, and he was a snip at 700,000. He'll compete for left wing back. And the exciting signing was Tommaso Baldanzi, also from relegated Empoli. A little over 6 million. He's going to be our Veron. I also took a punt on Anthony Martial to be a backup striker, free transfer, low wages, and the only other signing was a loan signing of El Shadile Bicciabu from Juventus. It's a 2 million loan. We do have the option of buying him, but it's 24 million, and I can't see us affording that unless something crazy happens. But still, a great signing for centre-back. So now the squad's starting to take shape in regards to the 98-99 system. The goalkeeper is definitely my Buffon. The 3 centre-backs, I'm happy to compare them to Thuram, Sensini and Cannavaro. Pizzella and Quetang are potentially areas we can look to improve eventually, but at the minute, they're pretty competitive. The 2 guys in midfield, Pessina's going to drop back to play box-to-box as our Dino Baggio, and our little warrior in the Boghossian role is going to be Coindreddy. Baldanzi oozes Gian Sebastian Veron, and the front 2, Benedict and Mendes, it's not a bad comparison to Chiesa and Crespo. So as season 4 got going, we had a bit of a dodgy start. We were fortunate to beat Spezia 4-3, after leading 4-0 by the way. Same goes for the game against Salernitana. We won 3-2, but we're conceding too many goals. We then lost at home to Udinese and Modena, which I was raging about. However, things did start to pick up as the new players started to settle in. Baldanzi scoring in a big win against Fiorentina, and also in Rome in a stunning away victory against Lazio. In the Europa League, we were starting to look competitive and got a good win against Sociedad. And after 6 matches in the Europa League, we're currently sat in 5th, already qualified. A Benedict penalty against Inter Milan gave us our biggest win yet. And as the January transfer window opened, we were currently sat in 4th position in the league. I made one further signing in January, picking up the experienced Lazzari for right wing back for just 400,000. In the league phase of the Europa League, we only lost that 1 match, with some good wins, including away to Feyenoord. We got through to the quarterfinals where we played Monaco. We beat them 2-1 at home, but in our worst performance of the season, we lost 4-0 in the second leg, and Eddie Nketiah scored a hat-trick. Why is Eddie Nketiah at Monaco? That Monaco defeat knocked us silly, and we ended up losing 6 in a row in Serie A. It meant we had to play Juventus, and the winner took 4th place. And out of nowhere, we played some wonderful football and smashed them 4-0. Martial scoring there, and he had a decent little season, 11 goals in 24 starts in Serie A. Martial benefited from an injury to Mendes, and he started a lot of games up front with Benedict, but that was the team that we went with most of the time. Benedict, by the way, 21 goals in 31 starts. He is an absolute star. Lazzari came in and made a great impact with 7 assists from his 20 matches. £400,000 well spent. By the way, I sent Johan Boni over to La Liga on loan. He scored 9 times over there, so hopefully next season he can make an impact. So I've caught up now. I am just about to start season 5. I'm wondering where we can improve. Now, Martial, decent season, good player. He's 31 now though. His contract runs out at the end of next season. I'm probably going to let that fly. So if I want to improve this team, it's probably going to be that striker position. So I'll remove it from there. We do have Pedro Mendes as an option. We're probably going to need 2 new wing backs as well, because Lazzari's 33, Di Chiria's 33. So that's probably where we need to improve as well. I've always thought we could do with 2 elite wing backs. The rest of it, I'm really happy with. We're going to lose Bicciabu though, because he's only on loan. And we're Parma, we're not going to spend 24 million on a player. It's just not realistic. So he comes out. We do have players who can jump in there, like Botan Balor. So I'm not panicking if we can't find anyone. But what we desperately do need is 2 new wing backs. And if we can possibly get a superstar striker to go alongside Benedict and Baldanzi, I think that's a pretty strong team, that. We finished the season in the Champions League places. We're probably still ahead of schedule here. 6 points clear of Juventus. Great season. Way behind the big three though, which is probably to be expected. The big disappointment was our performance in the quarterfinals of the Europa League. So next season we're going to try and make a dent on Europe and possibly a better run in the Coppa Italia. Okay, season 5, and it's going to be a big one. This is the first transfer window where we've spent more than we've recouped, but we have only spent £9 million. Stankovic comes in goals, is backup, free transfer. Japhet Tanganga comes in from Stoke via Tottenham, again free transfer. Michael Kayode comes in on loan from Bournemouth, he's a really fast right wing back. Lucas Perez comes in at left wing back from Santos, £4 million. And finally, Francesco Paio Esposito, one of the Esposito clan, he comes in from Roma via Inter, via Spurs, believe it or not. He's had loads of moves, hardly any matches. He's cost us £4.8 million. And as you may have seen, he's already started to pay back the fee. He's scored 4 times in 4 matches. We started the season badly with a bad defeat to Roma, who were really clinical. But we fought back and we should have beat Inter. They got a 96th minute equaliser. We did get a brilliant away win at Juventus though, with left back Lucas Perez scoring twice. Which means after just 4 matches, we are 6th. We've won 2, we've lost that 1 game, but I'm excited for the season. That's going to be pretty much the team we use this season. The comparisons with Parma 98-99 are there now. We've got Esposito as that complete forward in the Chiesa role, meaning I can move Benejek up to advance forward to be the Crespo. We've got Veron there and Baldanzi. All around, excited. Let's see how season 5 goes. So the season had been going really good. Esposito had settled in quickly, bumping win against Lazio 5-2, and in the very next match, away to AC Milan, we lost 7-2. We somehow got a draw against City in the Champions League. We shook off the 7-2 to Milan and got right back into form with the front 2 looking good. Some stomping wins meant at the halfway point of the season we were currently sat in 2nd position and we're only 3 points off AC Milan. In the Champions League, we're sitting 14th, so we've won 3 out of 6, lost 2, so we're in a decent spot to qualify. So the tactic has been flying, it's been flying. You can see the chemistry between the players, it's looking good. Mora's been an unexpected success down the left back, 11 assists in 14 matches. I brought him in as backup, but he's first choice now. Now the front 2, Esposito, 16 in 19 so far in Serie A. What a player he is. And Benejek, same gig, 18 in 19. He's just prolific. So we're 2nd. We're conceding maybe a few too many goals, but 7 of those was in 1 match. Yeah, it's decent so far. I don't expect us to win the league. We're way ahead of schedule. But let's see for the second half of the season. In the Champions League, we put up a good show, but a late goal from Villarreal knocked us out. 5-4 in aggregate, so no European glory this time, but a good effort. The league campaign had been really solid. We made the semi-finals of the Coppa Italia against bogey side Inter Milan. Put up a great effort. We drew 3-3 at home, but Inter beat us 4-0 at the San Siro, knocking us out. So then it was all about the league and some banging results, especially this one away to Napoli. Meant we closed out the season really well, and we finished in 3rd place, just 5 points off champions Inter Milan. In the goal scorers charts, both our boys are in there, Benejik with 28, Esposito with 26, and we dominate the top 3 places in the average ratings. Esposito, by the way, 33 goals overall this season. Pick him up if you can. He starts in Inter Milan's B team. So overall, I think we had a good blast at that, trying to recreate the Parma style from 98-99. And what happened to us in the league is pretty similar to what happened to Parma in that era. Good, but couldn't quite get the title. But yeah, overall, really happy with that.